You call yourself a fat activist. What does that mean to you?
I mean, to me, when I say that I'm a fat activist, I'm talking not just about the discrimination that fat people deal with, but I'm also really interested in how politics surrounding fat bodies and fat people affect fat people's daily lives.
So talk about that, the prejudice. Give us an idea of what that looks like and what it feels like.
So, I mean, you know, specifically fat people are more likely to live in poverty. We're more likely to deal with stigma in every facet of our lives, from especially because it's incredibly gendered and targets women specifically. Fat women are less likely to be hired, less likely to be promoted. Fat people in general are more likely to deal with stigma when we go to the doctor's office, so we're more likely to not only be misdiagnosed, not be treated at all, which makes it so that we're less likely to go to the doctor. So it's really not just specifically talking about the issues and interactions that we have one-on-one with individuals, but also how it's systemic and institutionalized.
When did you first become aware of this?
I found fat positive spaces when I was 18, so it was about 10 years ago. I read this amazing book. It's called Unbearable Weight by Susan Bordeaux, and it was really the first time that I had ever thought differently about body image in general, and it wasn't really specifically about fat people. But then once I read that, I started looking online and I found some amazing fat positive community that really made me feel like the issues that I had dealt with when I was younger and I continue to deal with today gave me, you know, this community gave me a space to learn about myself and learn about fat politics, and it really just kind of grew like organically from there.
You actually contend that the word fat, that the negative connotations in the word fat should be removed, that we should be able to use it just as a descriptive word like thin. Yeah,
I mean, we don't freak out when people use the word thin. Why do we freak out when people want to use the word fat? Removing negative connotations from it, because really that is unpacking the fat stigma and fat discrimination and feelings that we have toward fat people, and instead are just using the term fat to describe bodies in a neutral and oftentimes a very, very positive way.
Okay, let's go to the flip side, because we've wanted you to tell us what you're about. You know that you have critics out there. I know you're ready. I can see you gearing up for a fight. There are critics out there that say you're defending an unhealthy body type. What do you say to them?
You know, I think that that is really, really ignorant to say, because what we know is that, you know, again, fat people are more likely to live in poverty. We're more likely to deal with stigma in every facet of our lives. And we know that from research that people that live in poverty, people that deal with stigma, have far worse health outcomes because of that stigma, because of the socioeconomic status that they live in. So if fat people are far more likely to deal with those things, to say that I'm defending, you know, an unhealthy body type or an unhealthy lifestyle, it's really them assuming that fat people live a specific lifestyle, that they live you know, in a specific body and in a specific way that makes it so that they're unhealthy. So, you know, I'm far more interested in talking about poverty. I'm far more interested in talking about how we live in a society that has a lot of inequality, and not really interested in trying to defend my right to be a fat person, to defend someone else's right to live in their body.
So talk about some of the negative stuff that has come up. Unfortunately, there have been some really hateful and really hurtful comments on your blog. How do you deal with that, and what do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, unfortunately, trolls are really boring. They tend to say the same things over and over again. So, you know, that is really, you know, once you are, you know, it's hard when you first start out. But for me, because I've been, you know, doing activism or just being involved in the community for so long, a lot of the things that people say are very, you know, it's not original. It's a lot. I rarely am I surprised by what someone's saying to me. So, you know, for me, the things that people are saying, you know, it's not new, but that doesn't mean that I don't need to take a break, you know, turn my laptop off, take some time for myself, go get a coffee, just, you know, shut that out, and just, you know, walk away sometimes.